How's everybody doing out there? I'm excited to be here today to talk about vision. Vision, I've been working with lots of people around this vision statement for a long time. And I've discovered some things in the last few weeks that I just really wanted to share with you. I'm working people through some material called Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. And we're going through a chapter on vision that says the indispensable quality of a leader. And I'm adding to that the indispensable quality of a leader and your personal growth. Again, who's the hardest person to lead? Me, right? It's ourselves. And so I'm bringing that together. But as I've taught vision for a long time and helped companies, helped people develop vision statements, there's always a struggle. So for you, do you have a vision statement that is already written out? Most likely not, because I know that only 2% of the people out in the world even know what they want. They don't have a clear goal of what they want. And why is that? It's because vision statements are so difficult to write. And so most people just give up and they leave it up to someone else. And I love the way that my mentor, Jim Rohn, said, if you don't have a plan, guess what? You'll fall into someone else's plan. And you know what they have planned for you? Not much. So, and even executives having vision statements, a lot of times they're just going along with what they've got to do instead of having a vision statement for them, their department, and their team. So let me just share a few things around vision that I think will help you and maybe inspire you. I just started reflecting on how the indispensable quality of vision, how important it is for you individually as well as your team and your company. So what I realized, the power of a vision is that it pulls you forward. Goals we're like pushing for. Like we want them, but we have to push for them. If you have a clear vision, it pulls you forward. So let me just give you some for instances for me. I started reflecting on how I've been able to grow in different areas of my life, and I realized that it truly was because I had developed a vision in that area from being exposed to someone who had a greater awareness and a greater vision than even I did. So the first one for me, I'm going to start spiritual. I was struggling as a 16-year-old young man, really whether life was worth living or not. And my mom knew something was wrong, and she kept asking me questions. And finally, I shared with her my struggles. And she looked at me and she said, "God loves you." And I was like, I expected her to say, "She loves me," but she said, "God loves you." And that next weekend, because of the way she described a God that loves me, I hadn't been going to church my entire life. I walked to church by myself for the first time because I had a vision of a God who loves me, and I wanted to figure that out. I wanted to do that, so I walked. And man, that vision has changed my life so much. I'll go to a completely opposite area, finances. Man, we grew up, there was times of struggle where it was food stamps. We didn't have a lot of financial ability. And really, I thought the only way to have a lot of money was to have a good credit score and that the bank gave you money. That was all I knew. So I got exposed to some Dave Ramsey teaching and some other things, but the one thing that gave me a vision beyond anything I could have ever imagined was I walked past an ATM machine when I was down at the University of Texas, and this little receipt fell out. And when the receipt fell out, I, curiosity, grabbed the receipt as a young college kid, and it said withdrawal $8, and it said withdrawal fee $3. I was like, what an idiot, right? Like, why are you spending so much money? But maybe they weren't so ignorant after all, because the balance on his bank account was a number that I could have never imagined that people had just sitting in their bank account, and what it would be like to have that. So I took that ATM receipt and stuck it in front of me while I was studying every night during college. so that I could see it and develop a vision of what it would be like to have that. Just a few more, like, again, I've just realized that vision pulled me forward to make sacrifices and do things differently that I could live with the freedom, the financial freedom that would provide. In my career, in my vocation, I was exposed to a great mentor, Dan Miller. He talked about 48 days to the work you love, where really people, a vision of, man, whether I'm working or playing, whether it's my love or my religion, I leave it up to other people to decide. Well, I didn't know you could do that. So it expanded my vision. So what's your vision in those areas? In ministry, in church, in my wife and my marriage, one of the most amazing things for me was I didn't have a vision of what a marriage could be and the most amazing thing that could happen until I met one of my mentors named Todd Wortham. And he loved his wife. He dated his wife. He cherished her. And it was such an amazing thing to watch that it expanded my vision of what could be. And I've used that vision to help me date better and then to get engaged to my wife, Jacqueline, and then be married and for us to develop. And even on year one of our marriage, we did a vision of what we wanted our 10-year anniversary to look like. And oh my gosh, you talk about pulling you forward for 9 more years to living out something that truly was my 10-year anniversary was heaven on earth. Like, it was the closest thing I knew to the most beautiful state that I could have ever been in. And it was because a vision pulled us forward to that. As a father, being exposed to leaders, expanding my vision of what it's like to lead my family and developing a vision of what that could look like. Now then, just a few other ones, working through clients. And I hope this is just inspiring you to develop a vision. And I want to show you the power of it right at the very end. And I may have to put this in another video at the very end because when I work through this with clients, it helped them to get it too. So my son, Will, he's doing amazing things to pull himself forward right now to be an amazing football player because he has a vision of what it's like on Friday Night Lights. Right? He knows what it's like to make a play and people cheering and be under the Friday Night Lights. So he's got a vision of what that can be. And he's doing things that I never knew he could be because he's pulled forward by that vision. My wife, a vision of a school teacher that she got driving by a school one day. And she's like, that's who I'm going to be. It was a vision that pulled her forward. Some of my clients, they wanted their marriage to be better. We got their business taken care of. We got their finances taken care of. And they're like, Ron, I'm really struggling in this area. And they've been married for a while. And through a coaching session, I truly just dug deep. Okay, what would it be like? What do you want your marriage to be like? And this is 2 different clients came up with something so similar. It was really cool. One of them looked at me and he goes, Bron, I want to dance with my wife like we danced on our wedding night. Wow. That man, because he got a clear vision of what he wanted to create in his marriage, took amazing steps that pulled him forward. And another one said, I want my wife to look at me like she looked at me in our engagement, in our marriage. And he wanted to see that look in her eyes, and he got real clear on what that look was. And he was able to do things that were amazing so that he could see that vision come true. And then I've got clients that we talk about, Bron, you can't run your business like a football team. You can't celebrate. Why not? Yes, you can. You can run it like a sports team. You're a team. You can celebrate. You have a vision. You have goals. You have a scoreboard. You have all of these things so that they can live. And I've got clients now that wake up excited every day to go in and run their business and achieve things and celebrate things. And then the last one, we've heard the Martin Luther King thing in today's world. Holy cow, right? He had a vision. He says, I have a dream, a vision of where my children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And it pulled Martin Luther King forward to do amazing things in a healthy way to change the trajectory of what was going on by the content of their character. Okay, so the last thing, the helpful thing that I want to give. So hopefully you understand how important this is. Indispensable quality if you're going to lead others or lead yourself, your own personal growth. This last one is when people try to describe a vision, they get stuck. They don't know how to do it. And this is one of the ways that I helped them get unstuck. I ask them, what's their favorite vacation? And fortunately, a lot of people have got to at least be in a place that they love being at least once. Whether it's by a pond, by a lake, on a beach, in a mountain, whatever their favorite vacation is. And I ask them if they can see it. And they get this, you can just see it. Sometimes they're overwhelmed with tears because they can see it so clearly and they can feel it and they can taste it. That is a clear vision that pulls you forward. It's why we do so much for vacations. So if you can get that clarity on what you want in the future, and look, it takes mentors. Every one of the areas that I listed out, my finances, even, I didn't talk about mechanical engineer. I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. Dude, I had to have a big vision to push me past the things that I had to push past. I'll save that for another time because I've gone so long today. But man, every area, engineering, in my spiritual, in my finances, in my health, in my career, in my vocation, in my ministry, in my leading my wife and our marriage and our family, getting a clear vision that's just as clear as sitting on the beach that pulls you forward to do so much to have that amazing vacation. So again, I hope this has inspired you to develop a vision. If you want to lead a strong life, a brawny life, you've got to have a vision in the key areas of your life that pull you forward. So you don't have to push yourself. And then self-discipline becomes much easier. All right, here's to leading a brawny life. Remember to have an attitude of gratitude.